The Unlikely Team of Willow Meadow. Book 11. The Meadow Art Show. The sun rose gently over Willow Meadow, painting the grass in soft gold and brushing the trees with light. A soft breeze danced through the flowers, and birds chirped as if greeting a brand new idea. Remy the rabbit was hopping in wide circles, so full of excitement that his ears kept flopping over his eyes. "I have a great idea," he cried, twirling mid-hop. "Let's have an art show." Tilda the tortoise looked up from her morning tea, steam curling from a cup of chamomile in her mossy little teacup. "What a lovely idea," she said with a warm smile. "We could each make something to share." Cris the crow swooped overhead with a loud caw and a flurry of feathers. "Brilliant! I shall craft a sculpture the likes of which the sky has never seen." By the pond, the frog siblings splashed in delight. Frederick clapped his webbed hands, and Fern blinked curiously from her favorite lily pad. Soon the meadow was buzzing with plants. Remy found his paint and began to work right away. He painted with big, bold splashes of color, sunset reds, blueberry blues, and grass green swirls that danced across his canvas like joy itself. Tilda gathered soft clay from the edge of the stream. She shaped tiny animals, a rabbit mid-hop, a crow with wings lifted, and a sleepy tortoise curled in its shell. She worked slowly and carefully, humming a little tune as she shaped each one. Cris darted around gathering supplies: feathers, string, shiny buttons, twisty twigs, and even an old spoon. "This will be my masterpiece," he declared, perching on a stump and inspecting his ever-growing pile. Pippin the dog joined in. He didn't say much, but he helped carry things for everyone, wagging his tail with every trip. Near the pond, Fern sat quietly on a flat stone. She watched the breeze ripple across the water and noticed how the sunlight made the surface shimmer like 1,000 tiny stars. A beetle crawled slowly over a mossy rock. Fern leaned close to watch its tiny legs move. Nearby, a few flower petals had fallen into a perfect little circle. Fern loved tiny, quiet things, but she wasn't sure how to turn those things into art. She picked up a pebble and set it down again. She tried drawing a swirl in the mud, then slowly washed it away with a sigh. "I don't think I'm good at art," Fern whispered, her voice barely louder than the breeze. Just then, Pippin padded over and sat beside her. He didn't speak at first. He simply looked out at the water with her, his ears gently twitching. After a moment, he said, "You know, art doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be you." Fern blinked. "Me?" Pippin nodded. "If it comes from your heart, that's what matters." Fern sat still for a while, thinking. Then, slowly, she began to gather things she loved. A bit of soft moss, a curled leaf, a flower so small it looked like a whisper. She pressed them gently into a patch of damp earth, shaping them into a quiet little scene, a tiny picture of the pond she knew so well. Later that afternoon, the art show began. The friends gathered near a sunny clearing where the tall grass bowed like an audience. Remy had arranged his paintings along a fallen log. The colors practically jumped off the bark. "These make me feel like dancing," said Tilda, smiling. Next to the stump, Tilda had placed her clay animals in a neat little circle. Each one seemed to have its own tiny personality. One rabbit looked especially mischievous. "They look like they're talking to one another," said Cris, tilting his head. Chris's sculpture stood proudly in the center of the meadow. It was part nest, part tower, and part, well, no one was quite sure what, but it sparkled in the sunlight and made everyone smile. "This bit here," said Frederick the Frog, pointing to a spoon balanced on the feather. "Looks like it could fly." Cris puffed out his feathers. "That was the idea." Then, just behind a smooth stone, Fern carefully placed her piece. She didn't say anything, but her hands lingered on the edges of the moss, gently adjusting a petal that had shifted. Tilda spotted it first. She stepped closer, then knelt slowly to see it better. "Oh, Fern," she whispered, "this is beautiful." The others gathered around. No one spoke at first. They simply looked. "It's like a little meadow inside the meadow," said Remy, his voice soft. Cris leaned closer. "It's gentle," he said thoughtfully. "It tells a story without saying a word." "It's the pond," Frederick added, "the way Fern sees it." Fern looked down shyly. "I didn't think it was good enough." Pippin sat beside her and smiled. "It's perfect, because it's yours." The group stood quietly for a moment, the late afternoon sun warming their backs. Then Tilda raised a tiny clay rabbit in a kind of cheer. "To Fern's meadow!" Everyone clapped. Even the breeze rustled through the tall grass as if the meadow were clapping too. That evening, as the sun began to set, the friends sat in a circle, surrounded by color and clay and sparkle and softness. They didn't pick a winner. They didn't need to, because in Willow Meadow, art wasn't about being the best. It was about sharing a piece of yourself and seeing the beauty in one another. The end.